Hey, how's it going? So today I'm going to give you 5 best lenses as a beginner for all the Canon users that you should buy to start with photography and filmmaking, and you can cover all genres possible as a beginner with these 5 lenses. So after a lot of time, let's roll the intro. So the first lens that we have in our list is a very obvious one, the kit lens. Now most of the beginners underestimate the kit lens very much. They just think that I have a kit lens and that's just useless. They keep on searching for other lenses, but let me tell you, kit lens is a very good lens as a beginner. It starts with like 18 to 55 mm. I guess most of the cameras, beginner cameras, provide you with this kit lens only. Not just beginner, but most of the DSLRs. The mirrorless lineups have different kit lens. I guess it's 15 to 45 or maybe somewhere like this. But let us consider the 18 to 55 mm lens. Now 18 mm, which is a very wide focal length, you can take landscapes, you can take architecture shots, you can do so much of things with the wide angle shots. And you can also take like interior shots, real estate photography and filmmaking, because in all these scenarios you need a wide angle lens primarily. And also this goes up to 55 mm, which is a little bit tighter focal length to get you the tight shots, a little bit more compressed shots to help you with other types of genres where you wanna. So it's basically a telephoto lens, and that's the biggest advantage of it, because everyone should have a telephoto lens for all types of things. Even in landscape photography, there are certain scenarios where I have personally used the telephoto lens more than 50, 55 or maybe 100 mm lenses to get a little such perspective which a wide angle lens cannot get. So any type of focal length, you just need to learn how to use it for the best purpose possible. Now you must know that these focal lengths will not be the true focal lengths for the crop sensor bodies. Now I will assume as a beginner you will have a crop sensor body, but if you have a full sensor body, then 18 mm is 18 mm and 55 mm is 55 mm. But if you have a crop sensor body, then for all the Canon users, 18 mm into 1.6 will be the focal length you will get in your camera. So the 18 mm somewhat becomes 30 mm, which is not that wide, but still you can go with that. And I will tell you other lenses for all other types of shots, so you will have no worries. And 55 mm somewhat becomes like 80 mm, so you get a more tighter focal length with just 55 mm. So kit lens is definitely the one to take into consideration to help you out with photography and filmmaking for many genres. Now the next lens that we have in our list is the lens which I have talked about so many times on this channel. That is the Nifty 50. The 50mm 1.8 is just a beast. I have made a separate video explaining why I love this lens so much, so it will be in the card above, so you can obviously go and check it out. Now the 50mm 1.8 gives you such a shallow depth of field because of the aperture 1.8. Now you also get lenses with aperture f1.4 and f1.2, but they are like crazy expensive. But this budget lens 50mm 1.8 produces amazing results. Now the 50mm 1.8 can be used for night photography, for low light photography because of the aperture 1.8. And also the focal length, the 50mm, produces, it's not that tight and it's also not that wide. So this focal length is somewhat in between the longer and wider focal length. So this is basically a versatile lens, can be used for videos, can be also used, obviously it can be used for photography. I mostly use it for photography. For portraits, it's just amazing. You will get amazing results for portrait photography. Now let me tell you, if you want to use this lens for videography, then somewhat you will feel, especially in a crop sensor body, because the 50mm becomes like 75-80 mm. So if you want this lens to be used for videography, then you will have to, use it very much cautiously, because you will see a little bit shake even if you use a gimbal, because the tighter the focal length is, the less the amount of stability you will get. But never mind, I have used personally 50mm 1.8 for many of my videos, and it produces very good results. And I've also used it for portrait photography, for also many other types of photography where I really need that shallow depth of field, because using the kit lens you will not get a very shallow depth of field because of the aperture. The aperture is somewhere between f4 to f5.6, which is like a variable aperture, but with f1.8 you get a very nice looking bokeh. So this is definitely one of my favorite lenses in the list. So now moving into the next lens in our list is the 55 to 250 mm telephoto lens. Now the Canon 55 to 250 mm lens is just amazing for many types of photography. Any situation where you need a telephoto lens, where you need just to zoom tighter into something, this lens will be very good enough. Now this lens is not made for videography. You can use it for videos if you really want to get some different type of perspective, because focal lengths are just amazing to give you different types of perspective, which perspective we have not seen with our eyes. So focal lengths can be used for various types of experiments in the videos. So that can be used for videos, but not on a gimbal. Yeah, you can use that with 55 mm, but if you really want to go up to 200 or 250 mm, the gimbal will not be able to stabilize it because of this longer focal length. So maybe if you really want to use it for videos, just keep it on a tripod, or maybe you can use a slider, but that thing can also be expensive a little bit. But yeah, you can use it with a tripod if you need a steady shot, or maybe you can just digitally zoom it in the post. So yeah, I have not used it, I guess. Yeah, I have not used this lens for videos, but this can be used for videos as well. But when it comes to photography, you will just love this lens because of the compression it will provide with 250 mm. I have used this lens for street photography, and let me tell you, it produces amazing results. I've made a separate video showing you the POV of how I take photos with this lens, so it will be in the card above. So I just roam around and take photos with this lens. So this lens is also one of my favorite because of the compression I get with the 250 mm focal length. Now the next lens that we have in our list is truly made for crop sensor bodies. That is the Canon 10 to 18 mm lens. Now as I said before, every focal length on a crop sensor body just gets multiplied with 1.6 times. So the 10 mm becomes 16 mm, which is great for landscapes, which is great for wide angle shots where you can just show that wide field of view in your frame. So the 10 mm becomes 16 mm and the 18 mm is somewhat like 30 mm. So if you're really into wide field of view, this lens will help you a lot, which you cannot get with the kit lens because the 18 mm gets multiplied with 1.6. So with 10 to 18 mm you can really get that wide field of view for landscape, for other purposes, for videos, because wide field of view in videos, for vlogging. Most importantly, for vlogging it will be very helpful, because for vlogging you definitely need a wide angle lens to show as much as possible in your frame. So definitely this is a very good lens, but yeah, this lens is mostly used, like always used, I can say, for crop sensor bodies, because 10mm, if it's on a full frame body, that will be just crazy wide with a lot of distortion. So when it comes to crop sensor bodies, 10mm becomes 16mm, which is great to have that wide field of view. So definitely you can buy this lens for amazing looking shots. Now the last lens of this list is primarily for videos, which is the Canon 24mm f2.8. Now as I said, the nifty 50 lens is not extremely good for videos because the 50mm gets multiplied again, so the 80mm is a little bit tighter focal length for videos and you will not get that extreme stability even if you use a gimbal. So the 24mm is such a great lens for making videos, and you also get f2.8, which is not that shallow like the f1.8, but still you get a very decent amount of bokeh in your background to make your videos pop up, make your subject pop up more. So it will be a decent lens for low light, but the most important thing, if you are using a gimbal, the 24mm f2.8 will be very good. You also get the shallow depth of field, you also get the stability because of the focal length it provides, and as a whole package, this lens is definitely my favorite lens in the list. So you can definitely go and buy this lens if you have not used this lens till now, because if you are really into videography, then this lens as a beginner helps you to get most of your work done so much easily and comfortably. So definitely this lens wins the list. So these were the 5 lenses that you can use as a beginner for all the Canon users for both videography and photography. So I hope you liked this video, and if you did, then don't forget to hit the like button, and if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, you already know what to do. So that's it for today's video. See ya.